Hey guys, Mr. Bowman here. Today's learning objective is in white and we're learning to divide algebraic expressions. So keyword is division. So we've done adding, subtracting and multiplying. So we're now moving on to division, and the big thing I want to emphasize, it's similar to that multiplication process that we followed. Similar to multiplication. And it's similar in the sense that you've got to deal with the numbers first. So we'll write, you deal with the numbers, and then you deal with each letter separately. So similar process, but it's got its own little tricks that we need to be aware of. So let's change pen color. Let's get into some examples. So we'll start off with some easy ones. So you've got 10x divided by 2. First thing that we're going to look at is deal the numbers first, and basically that bit saying 10 divided by 2, that's just going to be 5. And then you deal with the letters. Well, we've just got an x, so we don't need to do anything else. So we'll have a look at another question set. There was question 1. We'll have a look at question 2. Other way around, maybe there's an x or a letter on the bottom. You've got 10 divided by 15y. We're going to deal with the numbers first. And I just want to note, when the number is bigger on the bottom, you're really simplifying the fractions. So over here, we did 10 divided by 2. Over here, we're looking to simplify. If you simplify 10 over 5, they both got 10 over 15, they both got a 5 in common. That's going to give us 2 over 3. We then have to deal with the letters, and we can see that there's just a y left over, and that y stays down the bottom. So I just want to note, a lot of people are always tempted to change the side where the y is, but it has to stay on the right side, or the bottom side in this case. So question 3, we're just going to get into some harder and harder ones. We've got 20x squared divided by 5x. So similar process, deal the numbers first. 20 divided by 5 is just going to be 4. Technically there's a 1 down the bottom, but we won't be needing that in this case. And then this is where it's going to be different. The x squared and the x. So we need to think of this as a bit of a sports game. So we've got the top team up the top and the bottom team down the bottom. We've got to think, who has more x's, the top team or the bottom team? In this case, the top team has more x's. And how many extra x's they have? Well, there's 1 x down the bottom and there's 2 up the top. That means the top team has 1 extra x. So it's 4x, and then down the bottom there's nothing. When there's nothing, just kind of ignore that as well. So let's have a look at another scenario. We've got maybe 10x squared y divided by 20xy squared. So same process, we've got to think of it as a bit of a team. We've got the top team here and the bottom team here. You've got to make sure you're giving the right points to the right team. So let's start off here. So here's the top team and there's the bottom team. So we start off with a fraction. The top team has 1 10, the bottom team has 2 10s. So we're going to give them a 1 and a 2. So that's simplifying the fraction. We then look at the x's. The top team has more x's and they've got 1 x there. So they're going to get an x. And the bottom team, looking at the y's, they've got 1 extra y, so they'll get a y down the bottom. Technically, we don't need that 1 out the front. We can get rid of that. But if you've got the 1 there, you're all good as well. So just going to slightly change how we're looking at the question. So let's say we got 27a squared b cubed. We're dividing that by 18a to the power 4 times b. So first step is we're actually using the division sign as opposed to it looking like a fraction. My suggestion is change it to a fraction, make them look like fractions. So we've got 27 a squared b cubed. That's going to be divided by 18a4b. So there's a tip. Make them look like fractions. So we've done that. We then go through that process. We've got the top team and the bottom team. They've both got a 9 in common, so 27 and 9. How many 9s does the top team have? So the top team's got 3 9s, the bottom team has 2 9s. We then look at the A's. Which team has more A's, the top or the bottom? Looks like the bottom team has more A's, and they've got 2 extra. So we're going to put a squared or 2 A's down the bottom. We're then going to do the same with the B's. We've got the top team and the bottom team. Looks like the top team has extra B's. They've got 2 extra, so we're going to give them our 2. So it's really important. Make sure you don't give the wrong team the wrong points. Imagine if your team, maybe you're a rugby player, imagine if your team scored a try and then the umpire gave the points to the other team. We can't do that. We can't allow for that. Okay, so we're then going to have a look at question 6. And this will be our final question. We'll make it our hardest one. So we've got 144 x squared y7 z4. That there is going to be divided by 36 x5 y6 z4. So our first step, we've got to make them look like a fraction. It's just a lot easier. 144 x squared y7 z4. That's divided by 36 x5 y6 z4. We then look to simplify. We're going to follow our process. We're going to deal with the numbers first. 144, we've got 36. They can't be divided into each other, so we've just got to check. 144 divided by 36, that actually comes to 4. So if you think of the bottom team and the top team, so the top team has 4 36s and the bottom team has 1. We then look at the x's. The top team has 2, the bottom team has 3, so that's going to be 3 extra x's for the bottom team. Look at the y's. The top team has a y, the bottom team has... Sorry, the top team has 7, bottom team has 6. That means the top team has 1 extra y. And then finally, looking at the z's, they both got 4 z's, so in which case, they cancel each other out. So if you think of it as a game of soccer, you score a goal, they score a goal, you're still drawing, so we don't really need those. And I'll just make that look a bit nicer. I'll finish it up by saying 4y divided by x cubed. So hopefully you guys found this video on dividing fractions useful. Make sure you've gotten down all of the notes, so there's not too many. The process, my tip with making them look like fractions, make sure you have done all of the examples. Once you've done that, let's get into heaps of practice. Thanks, Vince.